Today, in this video, we are going to be spending our time together and goal setting for 2025. So 2024 was overall a rough year for me, and I honestly did not achieve all the goals that I set at the beginning of the year. This year, I'm actually going to be creating a system, a healthy system that's manageable, easy to do, something that is actually going to be making these goals way more achievable. And the first thing that you need to start doing is creating these goals. So I want you to brain dump for 1 to 10 minutes and write down your goals. Ask yourself, what do you want to achieve in the new year? What do you want to achieve in 2025? So I've already written down my list. So I have 183 workouts, which is just working out majority of the year. I just want majority of these days to be focused on these health metrics. Now, working out doesn't have to be heavy lifting. It can be a simple bike ride, walking, golfing, swimming, something that is physical. I want there to be majority of the days of me doing that than not doing that. This will help me get out of bed, get outside, and do more. My next goal is actually to create 365 tweets for the year. So I actually do like Twitter, and I think there is a great community on there. I've met some amazing people, and I created a good network on there. I fell off of it. I've lost contact with a good amount of them, and overall I want to be more consistent on the platform because I do see the value there, and I think that it's relatively important going forward, especially if I want to do content creation. And that leads me into the third goal, which is actually to consistently create content. So my 2025 is going to be pretty much wrapped around these 3 goals. I want to focus on my health and well-being. I want to focus on consistency and accountability. That's kind of where the second goal is. I just want to be able to do something daily or have 365 of something. And then the third one is creating, and obviously content creation is something I want to do for a long time now. And I'm actually finally starting to take the steps of doing it. And I want to continue doing that next year. That is my purpose, which brings me into the next thing. I want you to create a purpose and ask yourself, why do you want to achieve these things? Is going to overall higher quality of life. At least mine will. What are your goals going to do for you? Why do you want to achieve them? What do they mean to you? If once you have that why, once you have that purpose, it's going to be so much easier to create the daily actionable steps to take towards your goals. And overall, I don't want you to focus on too many categories. I just picked 3 just because 3 is an easy number. You can do 5. I wouldn't do many more than 5 though. Just because if you are going to create so many goals and so many figures and so many metrics you have to meet next year, it's overall going to be extremely overwhelming. And ultimately, you might actually not complete any of them just because there's just so many tasks to do and you'll feel like you're falling behind. That was actually my struggle in 2023 to 2024. My 2024 goals, I created so many of them and they were just so in depth and so many metric based ones that once January came around, I was already behind on so many of them. So then it just made failing the rest of the year so much easier. I got into the habit of failing my goals because it was just so hard to meet or catch up on them. And don't believe that you have to catch up on your goals. You never have to catch up. As long as you start the year strong, continue as hard as you can and do everything in your capacity to do that and end the year at least overall better than where you started, I think that's a win. Do not take away from your wins because a win is a win. Do not turn it into an L. A lot of people down talk their wins and turn them into L's. And that is such an unhealthy habit that you can create that it's overall going to destroy your goal setting for the next year or destroy your motivation or your internal ability to even complete the small steps that create these overall arching goals. So now that we brain dumped and now that we created a purpose and also you've got the other tip of not focusing on too many categories. So our next thing is going to be creating a visual/mood board. What dream life do you want to make into a reality? How does it look? What's in your life? What is your life about? And honestly, write that down or just do a visual board where it's literally just photos. I think the photo board is so much easier to do, especially with inside Notion. So this is how I broke mine down. I have the law of attraction on top of it. And my 3 categories is going to be content creation, health, and accountability. And your mood board can look however you want. This is something that is completely up to you. It doesn't have to look as dynamic as other people's. It can just be 3 photos for each category or 1 photo for each category or whatever that is going to motivate you and make you think, yes, I do want to accomplish these goals. If my life looked like this, I would be far better off or far happier if I actually move forward with these steps. And after creating our mood board, I want you to write down actionable steps that you can take to get closer to these goals. I want you to be doing daily or weekly actionable steps. So for example, let's say consistent content creation for mine. What is something daily that I can do every single day or at least once a week or whatever your metric is or whatever your time scale is? What is something that I can do on a daily or weekly time frame that is going to get me closer and closer to my end goal of creating content consistently and honestly growing as a content creator? So what I thought of is editing for 5 minutes a day. I think editing for 5 minutes a day is extremely manageable. If you need it broken down into something even smaller, you can even have it just as opening your editing software. Opening and importing your project or your footage, just have it simple as that. And some days you're gonna be like, I don't wanna do it. I'm not in the mood to do it, or this isn't gonna give me energy, or I don't have the energy to do it. And that is completely okay, because you did your goal. That was your goal for the day. A bare minimum metric or a bare minimum actionable step is going to get you closer to that goal. Because there's gonna be days where you're like, yes, I'm motivated. I wanna do this and I will do this. And you edit the whole video. You edit the entire timeline that you have for that video. Or you edit a 5-minute section, a 1-minute section, a 10-minute section, whatever you're creating. And again, this is just for mine. I'm just giving you an example. Just opening your editing software could be a simple, small, actionable step that you take daily. Some days you're gonna surprise yourself, and other days you might not have the energy to do it, and that is completely okay. Again, do not turn your W's into L's. So for one of my goals, creating content consistently, editing for 5 minutes a day is my metric. If I just open the editing software and just spend 5 minutes can be so simple. It could be literally me just browsing music on like Epidemic Sounds or Music Bed or one of those sound finding platforms, or YouTube audio library. That could be the 5 minutes. And if I don't find anything in those 5 minutes, that's okay, because that's all I had in my capacity for that day. And I think that's still a win. And out of 365 days, you're gonna surprise yourself a lot of those days, more often than not. The next thing I want you to do is actually create a positive environment. If you don't have the positive environment to succeed in these goals, you're not gonna be happy with yourself at the end of the year. So what is something that you can do to your workspace, to your room, to your dashboard on your computer or your desktop or your phone? What is something that you can do that will create a more positive environment? Let's say you want to spend less time on TikTok next year. You could delete the app. You could put a time limit on it. There are apps out there that literally lock your app after a certain amount of time. I think you can do it on Apple's iOS in the settings too. So you can limit your time on those apps. That is going to create a more healthier environment for you, because once that timer hits and you're locked out of that app, you're like, oh, I can't spend any more time on TikTok. That's a better and more positive environment than you, because you're not going to be doom scrolling your time away and being like, where did all my time go? You're going to have time to spend on your goals. It could be something as small as that. It could be changing your room around. It could be investing into new equipment or gear, something that gets you excited about creating content or whatever your goals are. And the next thing I want you to do is to create monthly and quarterly check-ins. So for my monthly and quarterly check-ins, I'm going to look at how many tweets did I post that month? How many workouts did I do that month? Did I post a video that month? I'm gonna ask myself those 3 questions and keep track of it in a journal on Notion, because there will be internal friction for some things. Let's say there's friction for me wanting to record a video. Let's say I really don't want to record the video. What is the friction? Is it too much to set up? Okay, I have a simple camera now. Now there's no friction. Is it editing? Editing is too hard. Okay, do simple edits then. Just do simple cuts in your video. And once you get a more understanding of your editing platform, or once that friction is dissipating, boom, move on to the next thing and try to better your editing. And the last step that I have for you is to look at them daily. So once you have that vision board or mood board created, create it daily, or have it in your environment or room. You can have it posted on your wall. It can be just a photo printed out on a piece of paper and you put it on your wall, or put it on your workspace, put it by your desk, something that is going to be a constant reminder of, be like, I have these goals to do, because that is what is going to overall higher my quality of life at the end of this year. And as a nice little tidbit, I actually created something for myself that is going to make me want to create content even more. So as a content creator, I think the 100,000 play button is one of the best awards YouTube can award you. So I created this on my wall. I have a placeholder for the 100K play button. And yes, if I may not achieve it this year, I may not get it anytime soon. As long as I'm working towards my goals, I think eventually that can be a reality. That can be your daily reminder. That can be that little thing that gives you the motivation to work on these goals daily. It doesn't have to be something complicated. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be as simple as that. Something on your wall, just a little pieces of tape that outline the play button. And if you follow everything with me in this video and created that Notion board or created that little to-do list, it can be something on a notepad. It can be something written, something printed. Again, it can be anything to your comfort. If you did that with me in this video, please click that thumbs up button and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.